citizens of Earth, we come to you from the Edmonton Sports Talk World Headquarters for today's edition of the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. I'm Reid. That's Jay. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing excellent, Reid.
Foreshadowing of the events to come in the show, one of the mini events. Jay Milne's wearing an Edmonton Wildcats hoodie.
Woo.
We will talk about the Edmonton Wildcats, who had a significant victory over the weekend. The Edmonton Oilers with a shootout win last night. We're going to dive into that in the next couple of minutes. The Edmonton Elks absolutely whipped in Winnipeg on Friday at our watch party, which was tragic. So the playoff hopes are hanging by a thread, a shoelace, or a thread.
It's like when the thread that starts unraveling.
So I don't know.
It's an unraveling
the Elks playoff
thread.
hopes,
yes,
hanging by an unraveling thread. I like that. That's quite an image. It's like I imagine the helmet, and it's like slowly sinking down off the thread, and away we go. And we're going to also talk about Pete Rose, who passed away, and who usually under these circumstances, but not for Pete, but most players of his caliber, you would be remembering one of the greatest and most compelling baseball players to ever live. Briefly a Montreal Expo, by the way. But in the case of Pete Rose, remembered for, well, other stuff and not being in the Hall of Fame, despite having one of the greatest careers ever. We're going to dive into that, and it is an interesting discussion that's really been going on for decades, but we'll touch on that today since Pete Rose has passed away. So, hockey stuff. Oilers played Saturday. Who did they play on Saturday? The game's already a bit of a blur. They played Seattle. They played last night against the Vancouver Canucks. We saw Vinny Desharnais as a Vancouver Canuck. We saw McDavid play again. He played both games over the weekend. He was with Podkolzin and Perry last night. Perry scored a goal, jumped in there, came to McDavid's defense when he was getting roughed up a little bit. For the first time, we saw Draisaitl with Arvidsson and Skinner. I got to tell you something, Jay. I think people are, well, I'm not, this is not going to surprise people. I think Victor Arvidsson's going to do very well here.
I think so too.
You could see it last night. There's some intelligence there. There's some grit there, and he made himself available last night for a couple of passes from Draisaitl and got his shot off quick. Really impressed. And this isn't to downplay what Skinner can bring. I mean, this is. I know there's a lot of talk about, well, Evander Kane at his peak. Well, Evander Kane wasn't at his peak last year. I mean, this has the potential to be the Oilers' best top six in a long, long time. But I want to start at the end of the game. As you know, did you, it was televised.
Yep.
You saw the game, saw highlights. Saw Wake Me When the Season Starts.
Yeah.
Wake Me When there's actual regular season points up for grabs.
No,
which is okay. I'm not making fun of you.
I saw the highlights, and I think where you're going is the right place to go for this game.
Straight to the end.
Yeah, straight to the end.
I want to show the Oilers two shootout
exciting
goals because these are fun.
Yeah.
So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see them. Draisaitl. We have the Arvidsson one first, which was actually the second one. That's a great move.
Just juicy, right?
Patience, and then so he's okay. We got it again here. So he comes in down the right side, cuts all the way across the slot, and then the Draisaitl. They reversed the camera for this. Okay, so full slapper right under the crossbar. So the reason I love this, and I know that he's not the first person to do this, and my former colleague Rob Brown. I got to chat with him about this because he often said, best shootout move, full slap shot. And he goes, because if you miss the goalie and hit the net, it's a goal. Because it's coming in at such velocity from such short range. How do you react to that? Now, if you hit the goalie or you shoot it or you miss the net, sure, you look somewhat foolish, but a miss is a miss. But the Draisaitl one, if he hits the net and misses the goalie, the goalie can't react from that range. Like, I love that move.
You just try take up as much net and come out. But I mean, look how far out
he was lanking in net, yeah,
of the crease here. Like, and he, like that's quite a skill though to be able to with that much velocity, roof one, top shelf. Oh, and that's probably what. 2-3 inches of space to get.
Well, how
the puck?
many pucks fit in that space?
Probably
like
2.
4, 2 to 4. I don't know.
It's tight, but German Gretzky gets it done.
And part of the reason I love that And that's the beauty of Draisaitl. Remember last week or the week before, I told that story when Fleming was coaching the Oilers farm team. I think they were still in Oklahoma City. And we were talking about this player who'd been in the minors a few years, and he goes, he just doesn't have that screw you mentality.
Yeah.
He just has to learn to line up opposite another guy and think, screw you. You think you're good? I'm going to be better. I mean, to me, that sums up Draisaitl and why he's become such a great player. I mean, of course he's skilled. But that's what I love about that move. That is, that's a pitcher who can throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball and is not going to try to nibble at the corners. He's going to throw it right down the middle. He goes, I'm going to throw this right where you love to hit it, and I don't think you can catch up. And to me, that's Draisaitl. I'm going to take shoot as hard as I can. I don't think you can react. I know. Well, he's saying, I know you can't react, and I know I'm not going to miss the net. Screw you. That's what he's saying. That's what I love about that shot.
Would you say you're surprised that more players don't try that? Instead of, I mean, Arvidsson's move there was filthy.
Right.
I mean, that was beautiful. Does he? And before I ask you, does Arvidsson look bigger in an Oilers jersey than he did in a Kings jersey? I mean, he's clearly the same size. To me, he looked bigger. I don't know why.
Really? Okay.
It must just be the color scheme or something.
He's not that tall.
No.
I've actually noticed on the ice, he's not a
big fella.
He's not a giant. I don't know. He doesn't. I know he does. He looks the same to me, I guess.
But you said it best. You said it last week as to, what are you looking for in these games? And you said it about Arvidsson, which is why, I think you're feeling quite good about him, is he was available.
Yeah.
Right? He was commanding the puck, not dusting it off. Get that thing off your stick right away. If Leon's feeding you a nice pass, get it going, right? Find oftentimes if players aren't ready for that, they have to catch it first, dust it off, and then go at it. Obviously, Arvidsson feels comfortable in that role.
Well, and that's why I know one thing over the years that would come up just when talking about the Oilers, whether it's on a show or just in oil country in fandom. Well, McDavid's easy to play against, or easy to play with. Draisaitl's easy to play with. You just gotta, he'll always find you. Yes, he will make passes, and Draisaitl too will make passes that other players can't make, but you have to still be ready for them. I mean, it's not there's been a lot of players who played with those players over the years who didn't score. What did Hyman get to? 54. The previous year, Nuge got to 100 points largely by being with McDavid. So, but that's the thing about Arvidsson. You still have to be able to think. I mean, you're probably not going to be able to think the game at the level of McDavid and Draisaitl do, but you still have to kind of be in the neighborhood in order to be available for the shot and realize, there's a one-timer here.
Yeah.
That. Blake Lizotte wasn't going to get me the puck. I mean, Kopitar probably could. I can't remember how often he played with, but you know what I mean. You got to be able to realize, this is Leon's going to get it to me, and I better shoot it quick because that's my best chance at scoring. And I feel like Arvidsson is going to recognize those situations.
Well, and think look at an example like Zach Hyman. I mean, the running joke is that he just parks himself in front of the net and it banks off him.
Right.
But the level of hockey IQ that you need to have to get to that spot, knowing that McDavid might be looking the other direction completely, but he knows you're there.
Yeah.
And if it's possible, he'll find a way to get it there. So, much along those same lines of just general hockey IQ.
Yeah.
And that would be, that could be a very, very, attractive second line. one of the, if you have that kind of chemistry right now, it's only going to get better with more practice.
Well, yeah, and we'll see what Skinner does. I think Jeff Skinner will be good there. I didn't notice him. I still thought he had a good game last night, and that line was good and has a lot of potential. I wouldn't say I noticed him as much as Arvidsson, but certainly encouraging. But the thing you mentioned about Hyman is, that's the simple thing about hockey. Go to the net.
Yes.
Well, okay, but that's where it's painful. Right? I mean, what was the knock on Ryan McLeod? He won't go inside.
Won't go to the tough places. Won't go
to the tough places often enough. And sure, I mean, we'd all like to think, well, I could do remember we joked about a couple weeks ago? I didn't include this, but my phrases that when people say they could do it.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I could stand by the goalpost and do what Hyman does.
System.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So first of all, you have to be able to skate there, and then you have to be able to hold your position there while getting slashed or cross-check in the back, and then you have to be willing to have an Evan Bouchard slap shot potentially go in off your head or your wrist.
Yeah. Or take off the top of your knee.
Or right.
Right in that sweet spot.
Right. So, that's the thing. The Hyman does those easier said than done type things. And I think Arvidsson is sort of in that mold. And we talked about him last week, too, with the potential for puck possession and playing the heavy game, not necessarily in terms of running a guy through the boards, but I am over top of the puck. And it's almost like that NBA center. Leon does it, too. Like Leon's almost better with his back to the net.
He's better with one hand on his stick sometimes, controlling the puck.
So Arvidsson and Hyman are heavy in terms of sort of occupying that space over top of the puck once they get it.
I would say that Arvidsson is, out of that line with Skinner, Leon, and Arvidsson. Arvidsson fits more of the Edmonton Oiler mantra, wouldn't you say? A little bit grit, sandpaper-ish, not afraid to go to those places.
Well, I think in terms of just how you want a forward to play, regardless, right? Because of course there's always room for skill and finish, but the true all round guys have a little bit of nastiness or sandpaper to go along with it, like you said.
You'll always find a room on your roster for guys like that.
Yes,
essentially, no matter Oilers, Flames, whatever team, that's a guy that you need. A character guy that has hands that can finish. It's good, and the motor, right?
And that's why I wanted to highlight Arvidsson's shootout goal as well, because I thought that was a beauty move. And really, you see a lot of players sometimes miss on their backhand.
Sure.
And in overtime, was it Gleason that had an overtime chance? Just double checking my notes. Yeah, Gleason got in behind the defense. Now he's a defenseman, but an offensive defenseman. He got in behind the defense in 3-on-3 overtime and flipped the backhand, and when it went wide, and it looked like one of those he just couldn't control it as well as he would like. Arvidsson there does the little deke in front, gets Lankinen down, and he was forced fairly wide. I mean, it wasn't along the goal line, but it was at that before he shot it. It was at the angle where I thought, oh, is he going to get it away? And just very comfortably flipped it into the net. So I thought that was a great play. All right. You can get in touch, of course. The EST inbox, 780-218-9999. You can jump into the Nasty Chat on YouTube, which I know is off and running. And Jay and I are pretty confident it's going to get more active with some of the topics.
Yeah. There's some good discussion points here coming up.
Already just about the Oilers, and we haven't even dove into some of the other stuff. And you can email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Before 6 o'clock, we will qualify somebody for our fly away to LA presented by the 780. This is the trip that's going to be from Boxing Day to December 30th. And you'll go to an NBA game, an NFL game, and an NHL game featuring Edmonton.
Crazy,
and you'll get a rented car. And I think, is Wuthrich flying the plane and driving people around?
He's taking simulator lessons right now as we speak. He's hoping to have it done by then.
He's in the EST flight sim.
Yes. Hopefully. We're hoping.
All right, so that's coming up before 6, so stick around for that, because we're going to be qualifying people every day until November 28th, and then November 29th during the Nielsen show will be the big draw. What we're going to do now is, and this was sort of inspired by the passing of Pete Rose, who is, I guess we have to say that Pete Rose is had a Hall of Fame caliber career. He's just not in the Hall of Fame, which we're going to discuss as well. But this is the off-topic topic for William Huff. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading graphics with design, print, and install, all in-house for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service, combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best it can be, is what they call the William Huff advantage. Visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout, 780-454-4536. So here is the off-topic topic. Tell us and give us a story around it. Why you were there, what you thought of this person. Were you a fan, or did you dislike them, or something this athlete did in your presence, or why you wanted to see them? The best athlete you ever saw play in person. Now, we will not accept hockey submissions. Not to put a damper on things, but we live in a city which has an NHL team and which has had Connor McDavid and Wayne Gretzky and Leon Draisaitl and Grant Fuhr and Mark Messier, and therefore has seen Guy Lafleur and Mario Lemieux. So,
we'll several other come through.
Right.
I mean, it's too easy.
We'll rule out hockey.
Yes.
So, should we quickly give ours?
Sure. Go ahead.
I would have to say that most of what I've seen is hockey. I saw Kobe Bryant in his final year in the NBA. He was not at his prime. He was not spectacular the game in which I saw him play. I think he got 12 or 14 points. The Lakers were quite bad that season, but he was Kobe Bryant. And I was lucky enough to see him play in person in his final year. And really, it was at Staples Center. And as I said, the Lakers weren't good. The fans had very little expectation that the Lakers were going to beat the Bulls, who were there playing in that game. So basically, when Kobe touched the ball, people got really excited. They just wanted to see him shoot and score.
That was when he had already announced his retirement.
They
from
knew
the game.
it was known that it was his final season. Yes,
yeah. That's a good one. That's up there for sure. So I'm going to go back to May 5th of 2018. Okay. This was the 44th running of the Kentucky Derby, which I've spoken about on the show that Mrs. Glue and I were at. And we got to see probably one of the finest horses. Well, it is one of the finest horses in thoroughbred racing lore. Justify. Justify won at Kentucky and then went on to win the Triple Crown, the 13th horse to ever do it. And yes, horses are athletes. That's why I had Reid phrase this as best athlete you ever saw play in person. So Justify.
Now you're going to open up a debate within the debate. We're going to have an off-topic topic within the off-topipic topic. Should horses qualify for being the best athlete you've ever seen live? Would the jockey not qualify then?
No.
You don't even care who the jockey...
What did he do?
Oh, so you could have ridden this horse to victory.
No, I didn't say that. He's small and he's very light. But I mean, obviously the jockeys do something. But
all right,
early candidates before we get away here for a break. Tube Socks is in. He says easy answer. Rocket Ismail. Remember Raghib, the Rocket Ismail?
Yeah,
he ran roughshod over the BC Lions. And RCN says WWE Hall of Famer Pete Rose.
That's not
Did
baseball
have a brief,
player
yeah,
Pete Rose.
Yeah,
so he is in a Hall of Fame.
That's right.
He's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
So keep them coming in. I'm gonna open up a tab here and we'll keep track of these guys and share them throughout the show. Great best athlete you ever saw play in person, not hockey.
We are in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law. With over 200 years of experience, James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. JamesHBrown.com. Book your private consultation today. We'll weigh in, or we'll get more on Pete Rose with a gentleman who spent several years in a Major League Baseball clubhouse. But first, the Coob.
Habs forward Patrick Laine has sustained a sprain to his left knee and will not require surgery. His rehabilitation period is expected to be from 2 to 3 months. And the Habs do play tonight against the Senators. That's one of 8 games on tap in NHL preseason. Also got the Flyers and the Bruins, as well as the Devils and the Rangers at 5 o'clock. And earlier today, the Oilers placed Ben Gleason, Phil Kempf, Lane Pedersen, and Colin Delia on waivers. James Hamblin has also been loaned to the Bakersfield Condors, while Bo Akey reports back to the Barrie Colts. The Oilers continue their preseason tomorrow at 8 against the Kraken. The Blue Jackets have been given some cap break to meet the $65 million floor by October 7th. They were cap compliant before the passing of Johnny Gaudreau, but will now have a non-strict time period to hit that mark. It was Raiders star wide receiver Devontae Adams requesting a trade after head coach Antonio Pierce appeared to endorse trading him on social media. The 31-year-old has 1 touchdown on 18 receptions so far this season. In baseball, it's the wild card series with the Tigers up against the Astros, winning 3-0 at the bottom of the 9th. while the Royals and the Orioles are deadlocked at 0 at the top of the 6th. And later today, it's the Mets and Brewers, just about 10 minutes at 3:30. Just after the break, Jeff Krushell joins Reid Wilkins and Jay Milne on The Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Zachary Kubish, and now you're up to date.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Come get your game on at The Ranch. The Ranch lets it all hang out with a championship caliber design, premier conditions, and above all, a fun laid-back experience. Get top-notch service and unmatched value every time you play at The Ranch. Think you have what it takes to go low? The best value for your golfing buck is always The Ranch. The Ranch Golf and Country Club. 10, 50, 100, and 200 round packs on sale. TheRanchGolf.com.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Lynyrd Skynyrd with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Few of us can say that we're over 60 and still hot, but Mr. Mike's Burger can. And to celebrate over 60 years of Mr. Mike's famous burger, you're invited to taste history for only $8.99 at Mike Burger Madness. Savor the original flame-grilled Mike Burger on their signature garlic French loaf for a limited time. Dine-in only price of just $8.99. Sides extra. It's Mr. Mike's Mike Burger Madness, and you'd be mad to miss it. Offer ends September 30th. Eat locally, enjoy casually.
All right. Keep them coming. 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. You can even email me, Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
I'm going to start emailing you.
Yeah, please, just from across the room.
I'm just going to send you like weird
Or at
links to like crazy websites and just try to trick you into clicking.
Oh, geez. That's a whole other can of worms. So I'm not going to, I could tell a story about that, but not today. For William Huff, the off-topic topic, greatest athlete you ever saw play in person, but we will not do hockey players because that's not as interesting. And give us a circumstance of why you saw that person, if you were a fan or not a fan, or why you went to that particular game or event, or just how that athlete did in the match or event or sport you saw them in. Just something fun to add some flavor to the story. And remember, Jay Milne has identified Justify, the racehorsey, as his favorite. The 2018 Triple Crown winner as his best athlete he ever saw compete in person.
I bet you Jeff Krushell believes that horses are athletes
Jeff,
as well.
Okay, we'll start there. Jeff Krushell, nice to meet you, by the way.
Hey guys, yep, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Hey, great to be listening to this show in the afternoons. Great addition to the lineup. So a year 2 at EST is going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're having a blast. So just quickly, short answer: are racehorses athletes who would qualify for a best athlete list?
Absolutely, I'll say yes.
Okay.
And it's funny because I actually did a paper on that during my university time. So I'm with you, Jay, on that one.
Okay, send it to us. We'll do that. We'll do that on another day. But we have a couple pressing baseball topics we want to get to you with, and of course, you were a strength and conditioning coach for the Toronto Blue Jays, lover of baseball. I'm just going to start here. When you hear the name Pete Rose, what are the first couple of things that come to your mind?
Yeah, hard charging player. Somebody you'd want in your lineup. I think troubled and storied career would be kind of how I would, spark the memory of Pete Rose.
All right, a good summary. The gambling situation, whatever you want to call it, controversy, is a massive part of his story and ultimately what has kept them out of the Baseball Hall of Fame. So, sorry, what year were you with the Jays again? Was it late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah, exactly. Into the mid 2000s there. 2005, I believe, was my last year. And then I consulted with them for a number of years after I stepped away from the full-time gig.
Okay. I know you're taught not to ask two questions at once, but I'll kind of ask you a two-parter and you can take it wherever you want because I think you'll know what I'm driving at. If and when Pete Rose is ever discussed in a baseball locker room, how is he discussed? And can you also tell us, like, how obvious is it that players should not gamble on baseball?
Yeah. No. And hey, guys, I think you guys have been talking about it, mentioning it. You've heard it all over the news today. I think in the clubhouse, when you hear people talking about Pete Rose, there's not a lot of talk about the gambling. The big talk is, should he be in the Hall of Fame? Shouldn't he? But when you get down to it, it's the way he played the game. Boy, oh boy, before all that terrible stuff happened with the betting on the games, you would not want another player in your lineup. There's no question about it. So, in the clubhouse, that's the discussion. Play like Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle. And of course, if you look at what's happened in some of the other sports, soccer probably would be the big conversation here, guys, with fixed matches and all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. This is just something that cannot be compromised at all.
All right. But can you I want to get to my second part there because I found baseball's rules about how explicitly it says you can't gamble.
Yeah.
Is it on display? Like you can't bet, you know what I mean? Or like,
no, it actually isn't. I think, it's one of those sort of unwritten rules. You, as a player, you would have to probably dig down to find the actual ruling on that. But I think, when you get into the game, that's sort of common knowledge. There's no introductory meeting that outlines the rules of the game for the players that come in, right? So a lot of common sense there, but these things are discussed. Each year at the start of spring training, guys, we would have MLB security come in, and there would be a major topic of the year, whether it's after hours stuff or whether it's gambling. We actually had Michael Franzese come in one year and talk to us about how the mafia and certain entities actually target these guys when they come into town. Fascinating stuff, but also scary as all get up when you're sitting in the clubhouse listening to these guys and how they entrap these players. So the league does a pretty good job of keeping the guys very, very aware of what's going on out there, and again, to protect the integrity of the game.
Now, this is going to be a plain, simple question, but do you think now that the MLB would ever induct Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame?
No, they can't. They absolutely can't do it. And, when they originally came down with the ruling, there was an investigation, right? And eventually, of course, he did admit to gambling when he was a coach player with Cincinnati. So I don't think it can ever happen, guys. That doesn't mean that he can't have a plaque in Cooperstown, right? Maybe just not inducted into the Hall of Fame, but I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they recognize him for the player that he was and for the contributions he made while he was playing. And personally, that's what I'd like to see.
Now, I know that you started your strength and conditioning with the Blue Jays in 1998. And to me and Reid and yourself, that doesn't seem all that long ago. But you were one of the first strength and conditioning full-time, staff members at that time. Can you talk about how strength and conditioning has evolved since you started in the sport?
Oh my gosh, guys. Okay. let me tell you this. So in my a lot. So there was very little in the weight room, and some of the clubs didn't have weight rooms at all. There were no minor league strength coaches. So I was the first full-time minor league strength coach for the Toronto Blue Jays. The trainers did it all before, and I believe I was the second, maybe the third, maybe the first. I can't really remember. We can't track it down. A full-time performance guy in the minor leagues. Major league teams had strength coaches, but in the minor leagues, there was really no support for player development, athlete development in that end. And to give you guys an idea, In my first year in the big leagues, which would have been 2000, down in Dunedin during spring training, we would ship the weight room in a truck from Toronto all the way down to Florida, and then we would drive it back after spring training back up to Toronto. And there was no space for the weight room. So I would take over maybe a lane in the outdoor cages. And one year I was just so strapped, I actually took over the grounds crew shed. We swept it out and blew it out, took the lawnmowers out, and we made a little sort of mash unit weight room because it just wasn't part of the game. And when I first started, there was still some convincing to do, especially with the coaching staff, that kind of training during the season was actually helpful for not just performance guys, but, for injury prevention. If you ever get a chance, boys, to get down to Dunedin to see the Blue Jays' new player development complex, it is something incredibly special. And not just in baseball, in all of sport. It's $110 million invested to player development. Spectacular. And I was there this spring with Baseball Canada, my first time there after COVID. And from that little grounds crew shed to that, I tell you, it's two worlds apart.
Now, speaking of strength and conditioning, and there's so many different factors now. There's mental health that wasn't even a talking point, back then in the early 2000s. What do you think is the most important part of the strength and conditioning and mental health? A lot of guys have specific diets. A lot of guys have, in baseball specific, what do you think it is that contributes most to the on-field success?
Yeah, man, that's actually a tough question. It's very individual. I don't think there's an overlying theme there other than if I were to throw out one particular word, the guys who are successful in the game are consistent. They're consistent with what they do off of the field. And I'm telling you, you can pick them out and see them a mile away when they are on the field. So whatever it is that we've built for a particular player or the performance staff has built for a particular player, consistency is the key. Strength is a huge part of the game right now. These guys are strong. They're animals. Cardiovascular fitness, guys, wasn't typically thought to be important in baseball. Our pitchers especially, our position players as well, but they are cardiovascular animals. And then, of course, when you look at baseball, there's something incredibly unique about it, right? It's a skill game. It's an individual game. But listen here, when you look at the movement, the throwing movement, the movement of throwing, it is one of the most complex movements in all of sport. Left unchecked, guys, it quickly becomes the most dangerous, and that happens in a heartbeat.
I'm going to throw this one at you. I'm sure you've had to answer this before. That's considered the steroid era in baseball, unfairly or not.
Yep.
Was it frustrating for you to be a strength and conditioning coach during that era? Because certainly there were some players that took their bodies very seriously and improved without doping. But unfortunately in that era, anybody who took a jump in performance, what was said about them. And I'm sure it wasn't true about everybody. I'm just wondering if you have a response or a comment on that.
Yeah, no, I certainly do. Listen, I'm a huge anti-doping guy. Listen, we spent a lot of time in those early years, early 2000s, when it really came to light. And we knew, and it just added a layer of complexity to my job, guys, because listen, my job, that position of head performance guy, head strength coach, it is a special position, even to this day. Look, you work with every single player every day, and you get to know these guys. Like, you really do. Catching coaches work with the catchers, pitching coaches work with the pitchers, hitting coaches work with the hitters, but you're with everybody every single day. And one of my jobs was to help the guys understand how they can maximize their performance, reduce their risk of injury, and increase their career longevity. Unfortunately, some of the guys not knowing what to do, and this is the crux, when they did not know what to do, you found they would go to the dark side, right? And that would be, diving into the world of PEDs, which is a dangerous place to go. And, knocking on wood, I think we're really lucky to this point that more players hadn't run into serious health problems, and there were plenty, trust me. So it was a big push there. And here's one thing I took a lot of pride in, guys, there. And I would sit down with the players, no coaches, no staff, every single year. And I'd say, hey, look, 3 questions, guys. 1, if you're using, let me know. 2, if you have used, let me know. And 3, if you're thinking about it, come talk to me, right? And just all in the idea of keeping you safe. And God forbid something happens on the field, we might actually have a chance of saving you, right?
Yeah, the steroid era is something to behold in baseball for sure. But no, thank you very much, Jeff, for coming on. We appreciate your time. We'll have to get you on here.
Let's get them to recap yesterday.
Well, yeah. How could I forget? My bad.
Because you were as a baseball observer, you were enthralled with yesterday, were you not?
Yeah, so you need to break this down.
Down to the wire. Listen, 162 games to decide who gets into a postseason, right? And here we are. Are you kidding me? It took 162 games to decide, right? And watching the Braves, the Mets, and the Diamondbacks battle out for those last two wild card spots on the final day of the season, guys, that's a special thing that you'll only get in baseball. I'm telling you, wow.
So do you like the playoff form? I know they've had these extra wild card teams for a few years now after they had, is this a good system now? A couple teams get a bye and you got the other four playing off here this week?
Yeah, I think with the time that they have available, it's the best possible scenario. I love these late season playoff games if it could ever happen. And I wish they would keep these playoff games. They've gone back to going to stats, wins against each other, losses if there is a tie. But when this three-way thing went down with the Mets, the Braves, and the Diamondbacks, man, that is a fan's dream right there. No question about it.
Right on. Jeff, thanks for doing this. A great perspective on strength and conditioning and on Pete Rose as well and gambling and all the controversy that surrounded Pete. And also, I loved how you say when he's talked about, people say play like him. They don't talk about the off diamond issues so much. We'll do this again. Thanks for making time for our show.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Jeff Krushell taking in, of course, or checking in tonight. The Tigers have beaten the Astros 3-1 in Game 1 of their series. Another baseball note today, the average time of a game down to 2 hours and 36 minutes. Shortest it's been since 84 when they were 2 hours 35. As recently as 2021, games were taking 3 hours and 10 minutes.
God.
So the pitch clock and some of the other changes have definitely helped.
Beautiful. That's now if they could shorten the season a bit, then baseball. Yeah,
I think 100. I'm still fine with 162.
That's way too much.
Well, how many should they play?
A third less.
You'd go down to 120-ish games.
Yeah,
but part of baseball is you play every day. You have a pitching rotation. You need all your pitchers. You need depth. It can be played every day.
I just find the season exhausting, and the problem, so for the teams that are in contention, okay, that's one thing. But the teams that are out, and imagine if you're a Chicago White Sox fan this year and your team is out a third of the way through the season. There's no hope. There's no, get it over with.
Yeah, but there's always
Maybe
a last place team. There's always a last place team.
I know, but it just the longer the season is, you prolong the inevitable that much more for terrible teams.
Because they've expanded the playoffs, I would be okay if they went down to 154, but I wouldn't go much shorter than that. It's still a 6-month season.
That's always been a major issue for me as a fan to try and, let's say Blue Jays, to try and commit to that long of a season and follow the team actively. It's just I lose focus. There's too many. They come in and out of too many other interesting sporting seasons during their one season.
All right, there's a show they edit the game down to 30 minutes now.
I do love
the Blue Jays in 30.
Blue Jays in 30. It's up there. It's up there.
Pete Rose, should he be in the Baseball Hall of Fame? We'll dive into that a little bit. We'll get into the off-topic topic for William Huff.
I don't think I've ever seen this many messages coming in.
This one's taken off.
Big time.
Best athlete you ever saw play in person, but not hockey, and is a horse and athlete. And, of course, more on the Oilers, more on the Elks, more on the U of A Golden Bears. Heartbreaking loss for them on the weekend. All coming up. Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
The Oilers made some roster moves, placing Ben Gleason, Phil Kemp, Lane Pedersen, and Colin Delia on waivers. James Hamblin also has been loaned to the Bakersfield Condors, while Bo Akey reports back to the Barrie Colts. The Oilers continue their preseason tomorrow night against the Kraken at 8. And some good luck for the Habs as forward Patrik Laine does not require surgery on his sprained left knee and should be back in about 2 to 3 months. Laine's Habs take on the Sens tonight at 5 in one of 8 games tonight. The Red Wings also play the Penguins, and the Rangers face the Devils. The first game to go is the Sens and Canadiens at 5 o'clock. In football, the Las Vegas Raiders are open to moving star wide receiver Davante Adams. The Raiders acquired the 31-year-old in March of 2022 and seek a second-round pick and another piece for compensation. For the first day of MLB wildcard play, the Tigers beat the Astros 3-1, and the Royals lead the Orioles 1-0 at the top of the 7th. While the Mets-Brewers game is stuck at 0s, and later it's the Braves and Padres just after 6:30. The sports update has been brought to you by Paramount Flooring. Proudly family owned and operated for 33 years, they provide the best flooring to fit your lifestyle and budget. Specializing in hardwood, vinyl, plank, tile, and carpet, Paramount Flooring is passionate about its craft and its customers. Visit their showroom at 10707 184th Street or go online at paramountflooring.ca to see the family-owned difference for yourself. Paramount Flooring. Flooring for the life you live. Just after the break, the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues. I'm Zachary Kubish, and now you're up to date.
At Mind 360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind 360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind 360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
Fuge Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store or use the code EST when shopping online at fugesausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Fuge Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret, unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Are we on? Oh, okay. That's what that means.
Reid, it's you.
Zach points at me. I talk. How you doing, everybody? It's Tuesday, October 1st. The Oilers have a couple of preseason games left. What are they? Tomorrow in Seattle and Friday in Vancouver. And then they have a few days, and then the games will start for real. And then more people will be more interested, including my colleague. Including, there was a scratched player last night I briefly said hello to. And I said, "Are you ready for the regular season?" And he said, "I sure am."
Yeah. Come on.
So,
yeah, no, it can't come fast enough. You know, there's some people chiming in the nasty chat. You could probably cut down MLB game times by reducing the amount of gambling advertisements per game.
I got to say, I didn't think they were that quick now. Just over 2.5 hours. That's pretty good.
That's a huge decrease. And that was obviously something they saw that was necessary and, needed, because those games were just too long. I mean, the average was what, 3:20, you said?
In 2021, it was 3 hours and 10 minutes.
3 hours and 10. That's
and I'm
the
sure
average.
the playoff. I didn't see the playoff games. I'm sure they were up by around 3.5.
That means there's tons. There's several
average.
games that are going for 3.5 hours. My God, I can't even.
I'm glad that that's working, because that's what I found too, or even a playoff game. Like, I remember this was a few years ago. Like, there was a 6 o'clock game, and I was like out or something like that, and I turned it on at 8. I'm like, I'll catch the last 3 innings. And it was like the bottom of the 4th. Yeah. I'm like, this is on pace to be like a 5.5 hour game. Anyway, good talk with Jeff. We'll dive into some of the P. Rose debate as well. But let's just revisit. This is a good one today. Again, we never know how these are going to go. As you know,
Never.
Jay, this migrated with me, the off-topic topic, though I didn't do it daily on Inside Sports. But it was fun. Sometimes it was sports related. Sometimes it wasn't. We've done non-sports stuff, and you've learned this quickly. We just accept some days nobody's going to chime in.
Yeah,
they'll be like, "That's dumb," or they'll just have no story. And other days we think, because as you know, I was a little not iffy on this one, but I was like, it could be generic, or it could be maybe people are just, if they won't have non-hockey people. But best athlete you ever saw play in person, not hockey. But it's off and running.
Yeah, and like I said, the EST inbox is banging. Aiden O'Neill, either seeing Djokovic last year at the U.S. Open semifinals or seeing Judge and A-Rod play for the Yankees in 2016.
Oh, neat.
Very good. Peter Doot. In 1981, let's see, year I was born, the one and only time I've seen an MLB game live in Anaheim for the ALCS, I saw Paul Molitor hit an inside the park home run. Very fast guy. Paul Molitor, he was the guy that wore the hard hat at first base, right?
That was John Olerud.
Ah, that was John Olerud.
Paul Molitor and John Olerud were both on the 93 Blue Jays.
When they won the World Series?
The second one, I want to say. And Molitor, I hope I'm not off by a year, because they won in 92 and 93. Olerud was chasing 400. Like, he was batting 400 into August and then trailed off. And then when they got to the World Series and played, it might have been 92, because I think it was the year they played Atlanta. So in the National League Park, the pitcher hits. So somebody has to come out of the lineup. So they put Molitor in the field, and Olerud, the batting champ, I think, sat out a game or two. That's how deep they were.
Wow.
Molitor was mostly a Brewer, and then I think also a Twin. And then I think he managed the Twins. I don't think he does anymore. I interviewed him during the pandemic, just because it was like, let's just ask for people who would be cool to talk about his time on the Blue Jays. But yeah, it was Olerud that had some sort of a brain condition that he couldn't take. Right, a blow to the head of any type could be very dangerous. So he wore the batting helmet in the field. Molitor was a great player.
Yeah, that was heck of a squad. Kelly Gruber was my favorite.
Kelly Gruber,
and Devon White.
Yeah, Devon White was former Edmonton Trapper.
There you go.
Yeah, those were great teams.
Great teams.
Kelly Gruber, I think that was also in 92. I get the series mixed up. Maybe it was the 93 one. I thought, but there was one of the World Series. He was like, couldn't hit. He was like 21 at bats without a hit, but they kept him in the field, and then he hit a home run to break his slump.
Big, just remember a lip full of chaw too, just chewing something, biting something just every time. Big Maple says George St. Pierre at UFC 83, which was his debut for UFC in Canada, when he won the title back from Matt Serra. The place was deafening. The Quentin Johnson after party was unspeakable. It was a legendary time. VR Montenegro, would a race car qualify as an athlete?
No, he's being cheeky. The car would not qualify as an athlete. And the driver would.
you know what's interesting here is there's so many new people chiming in today. Names I have not seen.
Oh, sweet.
So that's awesome. This one comes in from Waddy in Cloverdale. I was lucky enough to see Brady in Buffalo and Jeter in Toronto within the same year. Sat front row at both events and got up close photos of both superstars. Where's one here? Oh yeah, Amos Moses says, I wouldn't say most amazing athlete I ever saw in person, but the most shocking athlete I ever saw in person was Brock Lesnar when he first came to the WWE. Just a freak of nature, a huge man, but awe-inspiring agility. As fake as wrestling was, he says fake in air quotes, you couldn't deny his crazy athleticism. He walked by on the aisle. We were sitting along at an early event in his career in Brandon, Manitoba, and I was just floored at his size. His back was the size of two regular men's backs put together.
That's funny. Mulder was on the 93 Jays, so that was the second year they won.
And Greg from Lacombe says, my mother was a single mom trying to raise a very hyperactive son. Me, he says. The greatest athletes I ever saw compete in person signed up to be my big brother / uncle and life mentor was Edmonton-based boxer, Canadian heavyweight champ, Kenny Lacusta.
Oh, nice. I've interviewed him. Yeah.
Very neat.
Yeah,
Yes.
incredible career for sure. Yeah.
Keep them coming. Boiler guy Dennis, easy one for me in 2020 when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. I was right beside Mahomes in Magic Kingdom for the MVP parade. September 5th, my wife and I got to see him and the Chiefs play live for our first NFL game.
Oh, that's cool. All right.
That'd be kind of
I was afraid he was going to try to sell us some story that he was beside Mahomes in the huddle. I was the backup old lineman.
Right. Yeah. No, that would be neat. Imagine if you just happened to plan a trip to to Disneyland, or I guess if you timed it right, the day after the Super Bowl. I mean, the ticket sales for that day must be pretty.
Is that when they send them? Right the day after?
Right after. Like they do.
And it's
not
in Disneyland or World? Do we know? I think it's. I don't even know.
I don't know. You know what? This is a great point, and if you can, let me know who this is. But Reid, I hope you're covering the CFR. Maybe have a cowboy or two on your show. That is happening this week.
Yeah, not today. Maybe later in the week. Yeah, depending on availability and things like that. All right. Before we go to the top of the hour here, Pete Rose. And we were just talking with Gager during the commercial break. I mean, as recently as when was it now? No, I lost my spot. So Rob Manfred, the current commissioner of Major League Baseball, in 2022, this is from Wikipedia, Rose again applied for reinstatement. Manfred quickly rejected the request and stated that any Hall of Fame discussions would be deferred to the Veterans Committee, so that could be a way for Rose to get in. When asked in 2023 about whether the MLB's emerging partnerships with sports books would have an effect on Rose's ban, Manfred quickly shot down speculation about possible reinstatement and later affirmed his stance when further asked about it at that season's All-Star game. So yes, Major League Baseball and many sports leagues have partnerships with gambling establishments, but that doesn't mean they're now okay with players past or present gambling on their sport or on their teams. I would see here's my stance. I think Pete Rose is had a compelling career, was, as Jeff stated, an exciting, hardworking, spirited player who was inspirational to his teammates and to his fan bases. But there was an explicit rule that he repeatedly and knowingly broke. And it could have affected how he managed. Now, he said he never bet against the Reds. So he hasn't bet for the Reds for a couple of days, but he's thinking, I probably should place a bet on them tomorrow. So he's managing the day's game, knowing that he hasn't bet on that game, but he's going to bet on them tomorrow. Did that affect how he ran his lineup on Tuesday's game, knowing he was going to bet on them on Wednesday? Did he use his bullpen the same way? It just is not a good area. And again, whether you like the rule or not, the rule's up there. The rule's in the book. Don't gamble. He did it. He did it over and over again. He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
I think it would be, for the, I guess the person that's saying, well, Pete Rose should be in, and it wasn't that bad, that the gambling that he did, it is pretty damning in the way that it was on his own team. Now, you could think of that as a positive and say, oh, he's just betting on his guys, his horse in the race. But like Reid said, taking days off, not betting them consistently, I think it would have been a better move for him to bet on other teams. Honestly, or bet for the team that he's playing against. I mean, it wouldn't have went over all that well, no matter what. But the fact that it was his own team, that's the tricky part of it, right?
And I don't want to.
And he denied it forever. That's the other thing too.
He did. Finally, because most of this happened in 2009, and then in 2004, he said, "Okay, yeah, I did bet on the Reds." He admitted. He initially admitted he bet on baseball, but he said, I didn't bet on my team. And then later on, he said, I did. And look, I don't want to be naive to this. I know a lot of athletes probably do stuff they shouldn't. And, well, I mean, what was the Raptors guy that just got kicked out? Oh, I forget his name.
Right. Yeah.
For gambling. So you're told you shouldn't do it, right? And he did it. So I think that comes with consequences. Now, I know there's another argument is put him in the Hall of Fame after he died so he doesn't get to enjoy it. But I think if you're banning somebody forever, that should be forever.
This is interesting. Boiler guy Dennis has sent in a few photos of the parade from Disneyland.
That's awesome.
With Patrick Mahomes and Mickey Mouse. Very cool. Actually, I'm sending a couple photos over to Zach as we speak because Mike, the Michigan fan, came in with probably one of the most amazing pictures I've ever seen come into the ESTN box. So we're going to get those up on the screen here as the show progresses. But Mr. Ice Cube, if you wouldn't mind checking your email for a couple different photos, that would be great.
Jonte Porter, the Raptor. Porter. I thought his last name was Porter, but I didn't trust myself.
And his were bad.
Jonte Porter,
his were bad.
Banned for life, violating the NBA's guidelines around gambling. Okay, more on the Elks, more on the Oilers, more from you on the off-topic topic. My top 3 for Fuge Sausage, all ahead. Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne.
Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Conveniently located 10 minutes west of St. Albert, Wheeler's RV Storage will provide you with safe, secure storage for your RV, boat, or whatever you need to store. Open 7 days a week with gated keypad access and extra large stalls. Now is the time to take advantage of their limited time offer. Buy 6 months and get 1 month free. Now's the time to go to WheelersRVStorage.com. That's Wheeler's RV Storage. Safe, secure storage. Visit them today at WheelersRVStorage.com. If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, protect your interests. They'll be there every step of the way to help answer your questions and help you get your life back on track. Trust Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, 780-428-0088, or go to JamesHBrown.com.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit GalloLLP.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
The Oilers have placed Ben Gleason, Phil Kempf, and Liam Peterson, as well as Colin Delia, on waivers. James Hamlin has been loaned to the Bakersfield Condors, while Bo Akey reports back to the Barrie Colts. The Oilers continue preseason tomorrow night against the Kraken. Habs forward Patrik Laine does not require surgery on his sprained knee and should be back in 2 to 3 months. Laine's Habs take on the Sens tonight at 5, while the Red Wings and Penguins play a game and the Devils and Rangers meet as well. Edmonton Elks wide receiver Gavin Cobb did not practice today, while running back Javon Leake was limited. The Elks play the Riders on Saturday, and in the NFL, the Las Vegas Raiders are open to moving star wide receiver Devontae Adams. Adams was acquired in 2022, and the Raiders seek a second-round pick as well as another piece for compensation. In baseball, the Tigers won 3-1 today, while the Royals and the Orioles are at the bottom of the 8th, with the Royals winning 1-0. At the top of the second, the Brewers are up 2-0 against the Mets, and later tonight at 6:38, it's the Braves and Padres. Right now, the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues. I'm Zachary Kubish, and now you're up to date.
Oh my goodness, we're here. 4:03 in the afternoon, along with Jay Milne. I'm Reid Wilkins. Zach Kubish along for the ride, as well as the Oilers get set for their final 2 preseason games. You heard the Koob telling you some of the players who were waived or assigned today. You know who's still around? I didn't tell you I was going to ask you that. Noah Philp's still around.
Reid's guy.
Well, he's not my guy. I just think he sees the opportunity. Well, I don't have favorites.
No,
I just identified him as a storyline.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a soft spot for the U of A.
That's
guys.
what I was getting.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, after Saturday's game, I asked Derek Ryan, do you and Noah share any U of A stories? And he kind of said no, because it would annoy the other guys.
I wonder if they ever would just go down, take the LRT across the river, and go for an Edo.
That's a documentary, though. You go to Hub Mall.
Yeah. Go get an Edo.
That'd be a nice little documentary. Oilers Plus will probably do that. You know,
they'd have to.
Paige can go do the story with them.
Yeah, go visit some old profs. Go back to the old stomping grounds at Claire Drake Arena. I would actually
wasn't
be
that long since Noah was there. Oh, but he scored a nice goal on Saturday. Didn't play yesterday. You know who's also been very good is Drake Caggiula.
You've been speaking about this for a while, but the belief is that that's his career as an AHL guy.
Right. So if there's an extra guy, you know what? Let's do it right now. Let's do the Oil Understood.
Let's do it
for GCL Diesel.
Because I got a question about Drake Caggiula. Then is the way that he's performing through this training camp going to draw the ire of Coach Knobloch in a situation where it comes up throughout the season? Injuries happen.
Well, I'm going to help you understand that for GCL Diesel. The Oil Understood. Providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts. Proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Now a proud partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Understood. All right. Here's the question then. I'm going to ask, I have a question for you and the audience. So we're assuming the top 12, barring injury, McDavid, Nugent-Hopkins, Hyman. I'm doing this without notes, which is always risky. Draisaitl, Arvidsson, Skinner. Brown, Janmark, Henrique. Ryan, Podkolzin, Perry. And by the way, I think Podkolzin's been fine. He got to play. Podkolzin got to play with McDavid yesterday. Had a couple scoring chances. You'd like to see him finish. He might be more like Podkolzin might be more of a mucker. You know, he's going to get the goal, the fullback style goals. So, the 13th forward. Would you sooner have? And this is an opinion, so no, I'll throw it at you. And I know you've had half of one eye on the preseason, but
at best.
But would you sooner have the 13th forward as Drake Caggiula, 30 years of age? He is who he is. bust his butt, and let's face it, in the preseason has been able to just outwork and outthink some guys who probably won't be in the NHL, but still credit to him. Would you sooner have him as the 13th forward and maybe he doesn't play, and Noah Philp plays games in the minors? Or would you sooner have Drake Caggiula back with the Condors and have Noah Philp out here hardly playing, but he's in the NHL and around NHL players?
I would like to see him here, Noah Philp, that is, and being around, the likes of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, other centers as well. That I think it's more valuable. Now, there's obviously a point where you could say, okay, now go down. Like, I mean, he can come back and forth, right? So you're not going to say he's here for the year, but I would rather have that as opposed to a person that's nearing the latter stages of their career. Is Drake Caggiula going to become a game breaker for you? No. He's a serviceable hockey player, absolutely, and he's showing that he's still got a step in his game, absolutely. But he can also do that down at the AHL level and mentor guys there, and that's now the new part of his career that he's entering.
See, if I had to make a choice, if we're picking between these two players, there's fewer and fewer guys left in camp all the time, and you probably saw they released Hoffman yesterday from the PTO. Not that we thought that was going to go anywhere. Dermott's another story, which we'll get to at some point in the show, but to stick with the forward chat for now. If it's me, and if it's between those two guys, I would keep Caggiula as the 13th forward because he's really not part of your long-term plans. And if the team is healthy and he just practices for 6 weeks, okay, I know that sucks for Drake Caggiula, and the Condors won't be as good without him. He had 37 points in 43 games last year. But Philp at 26 could be part of your long-term plans to replace Derek Ryan, for example, as we've discussed, or whoever in the bottom six. So I'd be inclined to assign Philp and say, go be one of the top guys on the Condors, keep working on, defensive game, positioning and all that kind of stuff, and keep getting up to speed and playing against men. And I know he has done it already. And then maybe, December 1st, December 15th, January 1st, we're going to need you to be that guy. Because if inevitably there's going to be injuries, inevitably you're going to want, players to have a night off, or maybe you're going to make lineup changes situationally or based on the opponent or whatever. So I would sooner have Philp playing in the minors to start the season. And that's one of those, to me, and I know it's a tough sell to players, but I also think he understands the big picture. That's not a demotion. That's not a failure. That's not you weren't good enough in camp. That's actually like, hey, man, you're right there. Like, you're on the cusp. Just keep rounding it out and be ready when we need you.
I mean, there's pros and cons to both situations, right? But if it would be better if there was another player other than Drake Caggiula. Sorry. That was a big detractor.
Well, I wondered if Hamblin might be around for another couple of days, but they assigned him today. I guess now with them traveling and just a couple of preseason games left, that you'd send him back.
I mean, good for Drake Caggiula to show out like this and push to be in camp this long, right? I mean, that's great.
Yeah,
if he could stay up here and stick, that would be great. A great story for him as well.
Lavoie's a little bit banged up. He's still around as well. And yeah, they really aren't carrying a lot of extra guys, just double checking the roster. Now, sorry, did I cut you off? I was going to touch on the defense quickly.
Well, before you go to the defense, because that's another ball of wax, obviously. But
yeah,
is Noah Philp the surprise of this training camp? Is that the bright story coming out of this?
I'd say he's overachieved from my expectations.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying I thought he would be bad, but he's stood out positively a little more. By the way, if you follow Jason Demers on Twitter, former Edmonton Oiler, you know how many games he played? He got into one. I think it was for a career game 700 or 800 a couple years ago. He really praised Philp after he scored that goal on Saturday. And he broke it down, how basically saying Philp was in a good defensive positioning, like wasn't cheating, was below the puck. And then when the Oilers started moving the puck up the ice, he accelerated, got past defender who probably should have done a better job, but that's sports. Got past the defender, took the pass in front of the net, and then also finished the play, which is, it's great to do 90% of the things well. You got to finish at the end. So Demers did a great job breaking down that goal and why it was a good play by Philp. And as we've talked about, he's been noticeable. Yes, sometimes against AHL level competition, but you got to start somewhere. But at a couple really good face-off games. So yeah, I think he's maybe the most positive story out of camp.
Well, and just, Penner's Pancakes chimes in the nasty chat. I still want to see Podkolzin, Philp, Lavoie sometime together on the fourth line. A big, young, physical line.
In the NHL? Probably not this year.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going to happen with Lavoie. We'll see.
Yeah.
Podkolzin's. I think he's fine. I think he gets in there and he mucks around. Again, I don't think the hands are necessarily great. I mean, McDavid gave him a great backhand feed in front yesterday, driving to the net, and he kind of whiffed on it. Then he had another shot from in tight that the goaltender stopped. But the pass across, those got to be finished. That's how you get chances to keep playing in the top six. Defensively, okay, we may have to circle back to this because we're gonna do our flyaway to LA contest right away. I think Josh Brown has quickly become a player that people are watching to point out his mistakes.
100%.
Which isn't completely fair.
No.
But I also have not been wowed by him.
It's not fair, but is it warranted? Based off his play.
Okay, so we know with the left side, we know Ekholm, Nurse, and Nurse is expected to play tomorrow, by the way. He's been cleared to play tomorrow. Ekholm, Nurse, Kulak, Bouchard on the right side. I do think Emberson has been fine. I mean, to me, Stetcher and Dermott are better than Brown. I'm starting to wonder if Dermott gets a contract.
Wow.
But then do you bury Brown in the minors when you've brought him on the team to be big and hopefully mean? But then that leads to the whole other debate. How often are you really going to fight? Corey Perry stood up for McDavid as well last night. So there are, I know Kane, I know we had the discussion last week when somebody said, well, who's going to do what Kane did? Well, might be bits and pieces of other guys as necessary. So I don't know. Brown hasn't wowed me. I guess with Brown he has the size. Does he always play big? And are the puck skills and the speed enough even to be a third pairing guy? That would be my question for discussions with Oilers faithful,
And I would imagine right now, most listeners, fans would say absolutely not. He's not deserving of that. Then the question is who? I mean, you know, is Stetcher the answer?
See, Stetcher, I got the roster up. They got him at 5'10", 184.
Yeah.
He's a gamer, though.
Yeah.
Like, he'll get in there. His puck skills are pretty good, I think. Like, not high-end like Bouchard, but I think I would say Stetcher, I'd give him at least average or even slightly above average puck skills. Skating would be just okay, I guess. I'm just kind of trying to remember plays in my head. He will get involved and hit when he has to. He just doesn't have the size. So who do you want on your third pair, right? And now here's another thing. And that's what made Desharnais good in that role. And he played last night for Vancouver, and McDavid took him to school a couple times, driving the net on him. And we know that even when Vinny was here, when the speed of the game picked up a little bit, sometimes he struggled. But he was a tall, lanky guy who played a tall, lanky game. What Woodcroft used to call him seaweed or kelp, and he would eat pucks and block shots and do stuff like that. I think it was McDavid last night was asked about Emberson and credited him, pointed out a shot block he made on the penalty kill in overtime because Leon got a penalty with like 25 seconds left or whatever. So Emberson's doing that. So I'm not saying Josh Brown isn't willing to do that, but that's who you need in that role. Okay, I'm going to just get in the way and eat pucks and all that kind of stuff. Who knows? Maybe we would see it from Brown in the regular season, but I would say his preseason has been underwhelming.
Yeah, and the scapegoat for many an Oiler fan.
Again, which isn't always fair. You know, it's not always the fault of the guy who's closest to your own net.
Well, that's just
on a goal. But yeah, there have been a couple of times where it's like, why wasn't he aware of that guy? Why wasn't he clearing the front of the net?
You know why that is? Because Darnell Nurse isn't playing yet. That's his role.
Could be part of it.
Stay away from that job. But hey, speaking of Darnell Nurse dressing, will be interesting to see for the first time is this projected pairing of Emberson and Darnell Nurse. That's going to, do you need your phone?
No.
I
I'll
can
get it during the commercial. I'm too short to pick it up. My chair's too high. Remember the first day my chair was too low and everybody was making fun of me?
Big Uke agrees with you, Reid. The NHL isn't a development league, so I'd much rather have the vet be up and only playing 3 to 5 minutes a night. Now, we did say 13th forward. This doesn't mean he's dressing every night, right?
No, he'd be the scratch.
Yeah,
so I'm saying it's easier. To me, it's easier to scratch Kajula in the NHL than scratch Philp in the NHL.
Yeah, and he said, Philp, let him go play and light up the AHL.
All right.
Which he did before.
Yeah, which he could do again. All right, fly away to L.A., everybody. Here we go. Presented by the 780, a homegrown local shop right here in Edmonton. 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 100 local vendors from the 780 area code to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Online, it's 780.com, the word 7, and then the number 80.com, or 5 locations. Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway. Those are all malls, Also in St. Albert and the Outlet Mall by the airport. So we got fly away to L.A. So we're going to be qualifying people starting today up until November 28th. And then on November 29th, they're going to give away the trip on the morning show. And the trip is pretty cool. From Boxing Day until December 30th, you go to Los Angeles. You get a flight for 2 to L.A. with hotel and rental car, possibly driven by Matthew Awanek. You get tickets to Clippers, Warriors, Rams, Cardinals, and an NHL game featuring Edmonton. All right, so we're going to have a keyword, and you text it in to 780-218-9999, and then somebody's going to get into the draw today, right?
Yep, that's how she rolls.
So the keyword today is, L.A.
How fitting.
So text that in. We'll qualify somebody, and we're going to be doing this, for almost a couple months. So this is extremely cool.
What a trip.
Go to Los Angeles.
This is a sports trip of a lifetime. I mean, come on.
Clippers, Warriors, it's in the association. Rams, Cardinals, it's in the National Football League. And an NHL game featuring the orange and blue. Pretty cool.
Beautiful.
All right. We got...
Holy smokes, Reid, the text line's lighting up.
It's lighting up. We got your Wildcats angle coming up. That's going to be fun. Here's the Coop Sports Update.
The Oilers made some roster moves, placing Ben Gleason, Phil Kemp, and Lane Peterson, as well as Colin Delia on waivers. James Hamlin has also been loaned to the Bakersfield Condors, while Bo Akey reports to the Barrie Colts. The Oilers continue their preseason tomorrow night against the Kraken at 8 o'clock. Habs forward Patrick Laine does not require surgery on his sprained left knee and should be back in about 2 to 3 months. Today on the slate, 8 games on tap with Laine's Habs taking on the Sens, the Red Wings, and the Penguins, as well as the Devils Rangers. 3 games including the Sens Habs one goes at 5. For the first day of MLB wildcard play, the Tigers beat the Astros 3-1. And right now, it's the Mets up 3-2 against the Brewers at the top of the third, while the Royals lead the Orioles 1-0 at the top of the ninth. Later tonight, Braves and Padres go at it with first pitch at 6:38. Just after the break, the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. I'm Zachary Kubish, and now you're up to date.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Few of us can say that we're over 60 and still hot, but Mr. Mike's Burger can. And to celebrate over 60 years of Mr. Mike's famous burger, you're invited to taste history for only $8.99 at Mike Burger Madness. Savor the original flame-grilled Mike Burger on their signature garlic French loaf for a limited time. Dine-in only price of just $8.99. Sides extra. It's Mr. Mike's Mike Burger Madness, and you'd be mad to miss it. Offer ends September 30th. Eat locally, enjoy casually.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Who am I talking to? Okay, coming up in a couple minutes, we got the head coach of the Edmonton Wildcats, who I have not met before, Kevin Wuthrich. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, man.
Okay. You got the story there.
The man, the myth, the legend.
We got my top three, which is going to be all I will say about this now as a tease is it is based on something that causes Jay to feel like he's being tortured. That's my top three.
Tortured is a bad. Underestimated.
Oh, I'm
actually.
underestimating. I thought you were going to say, "Don't say tortured, Reid.
Yeah.
Don't make it sound like torture." But no, actually, not a strong enough term. Okay. And and before we visit with Kevin, we'll quickly visit with our qualifier for the flyaway to LA. But Zach's just trying to connect with him, so we'll be doing that every day. We're going to do it 4 times a day. This show, we'll do it at some point. We're not going to do it at the same time every day.
Yeah, I'd be on the Nielsen Show in the morning, the Hangout with Maddie and Tommy, EST Afternoons,
Good show.
Reid Wilkins Show, and then it'll also be on Saturdays on
that's
Hello
right.
Hockey.
Thanks for reminding us of that.
With Sean Bell and Tom Gazzola.
And I think we'll have a Nasty Club qualifier as well at some point.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So it's going to be great. So we'll have a lot of people in the draw. One of them is going to be, is this seriously who it is? Big Uke?
Yes, it is.
Big Uke, you're in the draw for Fly Away to LA. How does that sound?
Oh, it sounds pretty dang good, gentlemen.
Have you ever been to Los Angeles?
I have, yes.
Have you been to sporting events there?
That I have not.
Okay, so this would be pretty cool. What's the biggest sporting event you've ever attended besides the wing eating contest on Friday at Century Casino?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably Chiefs Raiders last year in November was probably the most hyped up one.
Okay.
Now, while I've got you, I saw earlier in the Nasty Chat that people are saying there was a controversy at the chicken wing eating challenge. I didn't think there was much of a controversy.
You'll have to speak with my attorney.
Oh my goodness, he's lawyered up. All right.
Well, okay, fine. You're going that way. Fine.
Big Uke, congratulations on getting into on qualifying for our Flyaway to LA presented by the 780. It's been a joy for me to get to know you over the last couple of months at a couple of EST events. And thanks for writing in as well about the Oilers. Lots to talk about, buddy. We'll see you soon.
See you, boys.
All right, Flyaway to LA presented by the 780. That was Big Uke, who is a very upbeat person, I have found in my limited dealings with him.
Lovely fella. Okay.
Do we have him?
We
got him. All right, take it away.
We've got, coming up now is the head coach of the Edmonton Wildcats, Kevin Cash Wuthrich. How you doing today, buddy?
Hey guys, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Good. I'm repping my Wildcats gear in celebration of what was a big night on Saturday night for you and the fellas, the coaching staff, the whole organization, as you guys had a massive 32-20 victory over the number 7 ranked team in the CJFL, the crosstown rival Edmonton Huskies. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time that the Wildcats have beat the Huskies since 2015. And it's your first win of the year. So lots to talk about there. Talk us through the game, the feeling, and what it was like after the emotions that were stirred up.
Yeah, I mean, heading into the game, man, after, what we've been going throughout our season, it felt as if we just needed to make sure that we stayed on path with what we were trying to do from the beginning, right? And that's just create an identity and try and understand that, our belief is the most bonded team wins, right? We want to make sure that we're creating an environment for these guys to come out and have an opportunity to play the game together and to play the game the right way. So, the emotions were high leading up to it. Absolutely. There's nothing like cats versus dogs with regards to the rivalry in this city. And, it was just overall, we made sure we prepared properly and trusted each other in the process. And what you saw was the result there.
Now, Cash, this was an offensive explosion from what I've seen throughout the year from your squad. Quarterback Marcos Solteros looked like he was in command of the game. Declan Milne, starting running back, contributed a lot. Where did all this offense come from?
Well, over the last couple of weeks, we really identified a few things that are to our strengths, right? I'm truly a believer of you got to put the players in the best positions with regards to what they're good at. And, as we started to identify what this offense could be and what it could look like, we saw some of the things that they're strong at and we attacked that, right, with regards to what we do. Now, the evolution of it all as well comes in preparation, right? Those guys dug in with regards to their film work and with regards to doing more of the extra stuff required to have success at this level, right? You can't just show up and do what you want to do. You gotta unite and be a contagious effect throughout the locker room with regards to your preparation, and ultimately that's what led to what came out on the field there.
Now, part of junior football is you're going to have some players that are going to dedicate 5 years to the Edmonton Wildcats. You're going to have some players that see this as a stepping stone to get to the next level. For most cases, it's youth sports. Do you have any players currently that are in that stepping stone transition or hoping to make the leap to youth sports? Who are those players? And give us a little bit more information on, their story and how long they've been with the Cats.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the process, right? Is you have players that want to make it to the next level and play big time football, whether it's, most of them have the aspirations to want to play pro. Right now, whether they make it that far is a test. They got to work for it, right? You got to work hard. You got to do the right things to get to that level. Having been in those sort of locker rooms, I feel like I'm a great bridge for them to understand as to what is required and needed to get there. Now, with regards to players, I mean, there's we got a handful of guys. With regards to wanting to go and play at the next level. You see it in some of our top dogs there, right? Our top guys. Max Taylor is a heck of a football player, and hopefully one day he can experience that. He's having a heck of a year. Our receivers really stepped up in that regard. Our defensive DBs, Will Downs is a player who has that aspirations and wants to continue that. He's our safety there. Now, the thing is, when it comes to making that jump, you just have to make sure it truly is a timing thing. It truly is junior is for you to gain your experience and get as much reps under your belt as possible, so that when you go to that level, you find the right situation where that opportunity to play is there, right? For me, the last thing I sort of want to see is our players go to an organization or a school that, the opportunity might not be there, and just add to the numbers, right? So I am protective of my guys in that sense. I understand that's, it could go that way, but at the end of the day, it is about, my responsibility is always to make sure these players are being put in the right position for them to have success, and for the team that they're going to have success as well too. So it is vice versa. I got a lot of good relationships with these university coaches, and I tell them directly as well too. I said, hey, well, here's a guy you're putting. You want, he's going to be ready to come and help contribute, but is the opportunity there for him, right? I truly do believe that transparency is required in recruiting for both parties to get what they want, right?
Kevin, Reid Wilkins here, the one guy on the call who does not know how to deliver a tackle or break up a pass. You were talking a bit about recruiting, and I've always believed, from covering post-secondary sports and covering junior football and junior hockey, sports like that you can win a lot of games in the off season with recruiting. How is it getting players in Alberta, when there is another team in Edmonton and there's the Calgary Colts? Like, how is that battle for talent to bring players into the Wildcats?
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, this is my second year going into it, and the first year was different from the second year with how we approached it. But the battle, it is a battle in that sense. But at the same time, there are rules around it in our league, Reid, where we can only go within a certain area. Red Deer and North is our territory to recruit, and anything Red Deer and South would be the Calgary Colts to recruit, and everything in Saskatoon, North, it would be, the rules in Saskatchewan may be a little bit different. I'm not too familiar with exactly the territory restrictions are there, but in Alberta, at least, the biggest thing in our region is that, it's us and the other guys that we gotta compete against to get the players that we want. And I think for us, it was a matter of identifying what do we want, right? We do not want everybody. We cannot have everybody, right? That is the absolute truth when it comes down to this thing. It's, you only have a certain amount of players that you can give opportunities to, and we're very transparent with that. We don't go out there and try and recruit in bulk, is the transition that we went. We make sure that we really vet our players into our program, and we sit down we make sure to sit down with the athlete in our office in the building, and we want to meet your parents. We want to make sure that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, and we get to know you as best as we can, because one of the things we say is what you're willing to say in front of your folks, you better be able to stand behind, so that you don't so that you understand that word is bond throughout the process. So we're looking for the right individuals to come into our program. I said this after the game, our motto is the door is closed. We want to create value in this program where we can create an opportunity and a brotherhood in here, right? Because it means something. I mean, at least when what I want it to be is, it means something to be a Cat. It means something to be a part of an organization like this. Jay knows, he's played with regards to that. So that's what we wanted to get back to.
Well, and a lot of people, most people wouldn't know this, but the Prairie Football Conference, which the Wildcats are a part of, has rules and has divisions of recruiting where you can't recruit in Saskatchewan and vice versa. But then you go to the BCFC, and it's no holds barred. I mean, they can come in and recruit whoever they want from whatever program, and that falls under the umbrella of CJFL rules. Cash, I'm not going to put you on the spot to say, but I'm just going to say it. That is a load of crap. They can come here and recruit any kid they want from any program in Alberta, but the opposite way, it doesn't work all that well. So that's my take on that. Cash, I wanted to ask you because, obviously I was associated with the program in recent years, and I don't know if I've ever gotten to ask you this, or I certainly don't think so.
Great.
Nobody calls you Coach Kevin. They call you Cash. What is the genesis of the nickname Cash?
I'll throw this name out here, man. Hopefully he sees this. One of my coaches back when I first moved here from the Bahamas in 2004 in that neighborhood, I played junior football for the Bev Facey Falcons, and the head coach there, his name was Sean Bannock, and he's a former coach, and
he's a listener. Yeah.
I joined the team, and the guy goes, I go, yeah, my name's Kevin Wuthrich, and in quick fashion, he's like, Kevin, with what? With who? And I said, Wuthrich, like rich. And he goes, oh, rich like money, like cash money. And I just kind of, I was in grade 10. You don't get the choice, right? When you're in high school, you get that nickname, and that might ride with you for a long time. So here I am, 36 years old, and it's still got that hanging in the background, so. Hey, but you got to own the things and live up to the name, and hopefully I made Mr. Bannock proud there. So.
All right.
Well, yeah, there certainly could be worse nicknames. I'll say that. So, Cash, thanks for coming in, closing out your season this week at home to the Hilltop. So good luck in that game. And you know what? Good luck in
the rifle.
What's that? Oh, sorry.
The rifle.
The rifle. So another winnable game, obviously. So good luck to you in the rest of the season. Good luck in what you're building there. I certainly know what it is, and it's a lot more than just football. There's relationships. There's creating better young men. So awesome job to you and the organization, and thank you for hopping on.
I appreciate it, Jay. Thanks, Reid, as well, guys. All the best with what you guys are doing, and I know a lot of your listeners, and trust me, they love what you guys are doing. So that's great.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, good stuff. And we will continue to do that. Talk obviously the big teams in town, but to some of the amateur and post-secondary teams as well. So good to have a Wildcats angle there. When we get back, I will get Jay to relive some of the worst moments of his life. But first, for Wheelers RV, it's a sports update.
The Oilers have placed Ben Gleason, Phil Kemp, Lane Peterson, and Colin Delia on waivers. James Hamblin has also been loaned to the Bakersfield Condors, while Bo Akey reports back to the Barrie Colts. The Oilers continue their preseason tomorrow against the Kraken. Habs forward Patrik Laine does not require surgery on his sprained left knee. Laine should be back in about 2 to 3 months, and his Habs play tonight against the Senators at 5. That's just one of 8 games on the schedule for today. We also got the Flyers, Bruins, Red Wings, Penguins, and Blackhawks and Wild. 3 of the 8 games start at 5 o'clock. For the first day of MLB wildcard play, the Tigers beat the Astros 3-1, and right now it's the Mets winning 3-2 against the Brewers midway through the 4th. The Royals also beat the Orioles 1-0, and later tonight it's the Braves and Padres at 6:38. This sports update has been brought to you by Wheelers RV and Storage. Conveniently located 5 minutes east of St. Albert, Wheelers RV is your safe and secure place to store your RV, boat, or whatever it is you want to store. Visit them at wheelersrv.com, rvstorage.com to take care of their limited time offer. Buy 6 months, get 1 free. Go to wheelersrvstorage.com today to get your storage needs taken care of. The Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues just after the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and now you're up to date.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
It's crunch time for your taste buds, because for a limited time, A&W is collaborating with Ruffles to bring you the Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger, your favorite teen burger, and your favorite Ruffles cheddar and sour cream chips, combined into one unique taste sensation. It's grass-fed beef. It's one-of-a-kind ridges and crunch. Try it in all its teen burger glory, or crunch into its equally tasty sidekick, the Ruffles Crunch Buddy Burger, for just $4.99. Try one today at your neighborhood A&W.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
All right, appreciate you tuning in this afternoon. Hope you're having a great day. We are in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law. With over 200 years of experience, James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve online, jameshbrown.com. Book your private consultation today, along with Jay Milne. I'm Reid Wilkins on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Zach Kubish is here as well, as we are into month number 2 of this program. It's fun. You know what else is fun? I say that sarcastically. Would you like to tell everybody, Jay Milne, what you do every Tuesday?
Yes. So we've been doing this. Actually, my wife and I talked about it today. I think we're coming up on 2 years where every Tuesday, her and I, it's kind of like a little bit of a date day because Tuesday, when I worked in my furniture career, Tuesday was always a day off for me because you work weekends.
Okay.
That's retail. You have to do it. So we would then go Tuesdays to see a personal trainer. And you know, it's fun. It's a workout, but I hate it. Like and she knows this. She's probably listening, and she's going to say, yeah, he sure does. I am miserable. I say bad words to our trainer. I call him bad names, bad things. It's awful. But it's hard work. And, you know, so we went today. Tomorrow I will be crippled. I will hardly be able to walk.
This is terrible.
It is terrible.
So, okay.
And I pay the guy to do this.
Now, you're a former, and you pay this guy to do this to you.
What a joke.
Do you consider yourself to be in good shape?
Decent.
Is it lifting? Is it balance and dexterity?
It's everything.
Okay.
Like you're using a lot of body weight as well.
But it's only one day a week.
Yeah.
Should you not be exercising more than once a week?
Yeah.
Perhaps thrice.
Oh, that would, not like this though.
Okay.
But you could always add in a jog, or actually we're talking now about trying to mix in a yoga session every week as well to stretch. Because stretching is also very, very good for you.
Okay, so before we get to my top 3, which is going to be based around this, I don't know if confusion is the right word, but my question would be, so you played high caliber football. Are you not familiar with how working out feels?
Yeah.
Does your body not welcome it because of your athletic past?
See, but when you're working out and you're training, let's say you're a U Sports football player, you're doing very specific workouts. You're trying to put on muscle. You're trying to gain weight in some instances. This here is the opposite. You're trying to lose weight and tone up. So it's a completely different ball of wax. And it's just rigorous. It's high tempo, even though I do my best to try and slow it down so I can actually breathe.
May I ask you a personal question?
100%. You can always ask me
So
anything,
you've done this with April for 2 years.
Getting up to there, yeah.
Have you ever vomited during or shortly after?
Once, it was early on, and I learned the lesson the hard way, is try to take it easy the night before. Stay away from any libations for certain.
Okay.
And you got to eat in the morning. And that's a hard thing for me is I don't eat all that much in the morning. I usually don't eat till noon. So I have to eat something. Otherwise, I did throw up.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And I looked like a ghost. The trainer said, he's like, you gotta sit down and take. Oh, Zach's got a.
What did he put up there? I didn't even see that.
Canadian Physical Activity Guidelines recommended adults participate in at least 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity physical activity every week.
Well, we'll try. All right. You've actually called your trainer
every
insulting
name
names
in the book.
Is he or she? Sorry, is it? It's a guy. Is he used to it?
Yes, he laughs. So
does
my wife.
Your wife call him names?
No.
Does she call you names?
My wife's got a much higher level of compete than me. She's way more stubborn than I am.
All right.
She'll dig in and give her.
Do you do you do the same number of reps, or does she do more when you do stuff?
Yeah, it's always the same thing. We're doing the same thing at the same time. The only difference is that I might lift heavier weights than her. But it's the same workout.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Why don't you lift the same weight as her then? Maybe you'd be more comfortable.
Is that a shot?
No, I'm just saying you appear to be so uncomfortable and unhappy about these workouts.
Well, it's,
maybe you're overdoing it.
I should be lifting heavier weights than her. I mean, she's farm strong. Don't get me wrong. You wouldn't want to tangle with her. But yeah, it's great. I love it. It's one of those things that I love. I really do love. Like, leaving the gym today, I was so happy
because it was over for another week.
For a week.
Not because you felt good from working out.
No, like tomorrow, I'm telling you right now, if you touch me here,
which I will not,
I will cry.
So we're gonna do my top 3, somewhat based on Jay's experience.
Actually, April did text me. She said that I actually do more than you while I'm waiting for you to finish.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Thank you, April, for clarifying. Fuge Sausage, presenting my top 3, the best sausages you will ever eat, locally made, packed full of flavor. Order online or visit them in store, 6736 99th Street. Take advantage of their EST discount. Yes, 10% off your order by entering the online code EST or mention Edmonton Sports Talk in the store. You can just walk into Fuge Sausage and yell out Edmonton Sports Talk, and they'll give you 10% off. Free delivery in Edmonton on orders over $100. Remember when I had now we're reflecting on the early days of the show 4 weeks ago. Remember when I had $1,000 as a typo? And you were like, yeah, nobody orders that much sausage, no matter how good they are.
You could.
It's 100.
You could.
As Fuge Sausage says, you can't beat our meat. My top 3 relatively easy fitness feats that most Edmonton Sports Talk workers would struggle with. That's my top 3. Did I tell you what it was?
No.
Oh, I didn't even tell you the topic?
No. You told me the topic. You didn't tell me what your choices are.
Okay.
So do we get to set this up a bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to do it? Okay.
So last week I came in here and I was bagged. I couldn't move. I told Dustin and Reid, like, I sat limp and I said, I'm dead. I can't move. I can't type. And what's going on? What do you mean? What happened? So I explained what I just told everybody here, that we go work out and it was a hard one. He says, oh man, like, what do you do? And I was, well, we did. So last week it was a military style workout where there was a lot of push-ups. And Dustin said, I don't think I could do one push-up. And Reid and I are sitting here. Yeah, right. Who can't do one push-up? Dustin Nielsen says he couldn't do one push-up. Reid says he could do probably 20, 30, right? You know,
I think I could do 20.
20. So that was where the genesis of this Reid's top 3 presented by Fuge Sausage came from. So Reid, what is your number 1 relatively easy fitness feat that most EST workers would struggle with?
Now I say struggle with. Maybe not fail at, but struggle with. And I would put, even though I think I could do this first one, but I think I would struggle and feel terrible after, and it is 20 push-ups.
20 push-ups.
I think right now, if you said, and I'm in quite poor shape right now, I would say I'm in the worst shape I've been in probably 15 years.
Well, it was the summer of Reid.
I won't get into the whole thing, but my running career has, because of an injury, has taken a dive, and I haven't been that active. So I think I could do 20 push-ups, but I think the last 4 or 5 I'd be quite shaky, and then I probably would need to rest. I don't know if I could go on to the other things, but because I'm kind of also considering these as a sequence.
Sure.
So 20 push-ups I think I could do. Dustin could not do.
He says he can't do one.
You could do, but you'd be unhappy with.
I could do 20 push-ups.
Oh, okay.
Easy.
You'd be fine with that. Coob?
I could probably do a solid 10 before I start wavering off.
Okay.
Like I could do 12 or 13.
So it'd be a
maybe.
struggle.
Appreciate your honesty.
I think Hernan would be fine.
Maddie, well, no, labrum surgery, so he'd be out.
Oh, so he'd struggle with the
I think
the
Tommy
push-ups
could.
as well.
I know Gage probably could. Gage could.
Gager's a physical specimen.
He'd be angry about it, but he probably
near
could.
perfection.
He'd be swearing at you, being like, Reid,
Jasmine, I have no idea. If she's listening, she'll let us know.
She'll chime in.
But I think most of us would
struggle,
have some sort of difficulty. Sure. And then again, could you keep going, doing other stuff? The other one, I think I could. I don't want. Trust me. For YouTubers, I'm not going to get down and try it. Okay, maybe tonight at home I'll see if I can do it. I'm not putting myself on video. The other thing, I don't think I could do it. One pull-up.
I
don't think I could do, because the pull-up is not just your arms. It's your core to get up there too, isn't it?
Well, a true pull-up is straight, just arms.
But you need strength in your core too, doesn't it?
If you're
help?
swinging your feet, that's more of a CrossFit style.
No, but I'm just thinking, because once you start pulling, like it strains on your midsection, doesn't it?
Might stretch your midsection out, but it's absolutely lats, like under here.
Yeah,
that's that. And
I got nothing
pulling
there.
yourself up,
I
shoulders,
got just
lats,
flab there,
back.
Yeah, I call it flats because it's flap. It's fat with my. It's flappy fat with my lats.
Pull-ups are incredibly hard to do. We should.
I don't think I could do one. A chin-up bar.
We'll install a chin-up bar by Gage's office there.
How many could you do?
Oh, 3, 4 tops.
So what I'm saying is,
unaided,
one would not make you feel great, but you could do more than one.
I could swear.
I'm
my way through
assuming
it,
Dustin couldn't do a pull-up.
If he can't do a push-up, he is not doing a pull-up.
Coob, where are you at with the pull-ups?
No, it depends. If I drop all the way down to start, no. If I do like the half one from where I'm totally standing, I could do like 2 or 3. Okay. That doesn't make sense, but I can do 2 or 3.
2 or 3 full extensions?
Maybe a half or
okay.
A full one.
I mean, you'd have to have somebody. Maybe April could come in and judge and make sure that, these push-ups are down.
Because she would be the most fit person
by far.
Yeah, anywhere.
It's an office full of sports dudes. Like, what do you expect? Right.
All right.
I mean, let's be honest.
And then my final. See, I called these relatively easy fitness feats for people who are in shape or relatively in shape, which we have varying degrees of that here. So my number 3 relatively easy fitness feat that most Edmonton Sports Talk workers would struggle with or fail at, I guess, planking for 1 minute. I don't know. Now, when I was in better shape a few years ago, I was probably up to almost a 90-second plank. 30 would be no problem, but a lot happens between 30 seconds and 60 seconds when you're planking.
Sure.
So I don't know if I could get there right now.
I'm guessing that the form of these planks that would be on display would be something to behold. There'd be asses in the air and, improper form all over the place. Zach, you could plank. I think that would be probably out of the 3. I bet you this would be the strongest showing.
But in the sequence, if you did them in that sequence,
well, actually, you'd be warm by then, and there's really not. You're
so positive and believe in your colleagues so much.
If you can't do that, that's like this.
Planking for a minute is hard.
Yeah, it's yeah. I agree with you.
I hope people know what planking is.
Yeah, it's where you stretch out and your arms are here at your side, and you're putting a lot of pressure on your
kind
abs.
of on your forearms and your toes, basically. Yeah.
Coob, 60 seconds on a plank.
I could do a minute easy, probably max out at 1:45 to 2 minutes.
Easy?
Okay, so we're
easy.
We're at 4:57 right now. So you want to go from 4:58 to 4:59, and we'll verify that you're doing
Well, he's got to read an update.
At 5.
He'll be winded.
Sure. Let's do it.
See, that's what Matty always says. He says, broadcasting rule 101, never go on the on air without, or if you can't catch your breath.
Never run to a mic. Halsey always said that.
You know, Bronx the Boilermaker comes in and says, what about Eric? I think he could do it. I think Eric would probably, Eric would, I think, hit the plank, no problem.
Yeah.
Push-up, I think, would be easy for Eric.
Oh, interesting. Is he the fittest guy here?
It depends what you define as fit.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Gager played at the highest level of his sport.
Belsey played in the NHL.
Oh, Belsey, gee, I wasn't even thinking of Belsey.
You know, handsome Tom's handsome.
Tom's in pretty good shape.
I know he does work out.
Trev's a sleeper.
Trev's a sleeper too.
We have so many employees. I can't keep everybody straight.
Yeah, that's the plank there.
He put it up. Zach, does he have it up now, or it's gone now? Okay.
No, it's 20 seconds.
We could do. I mean, speaking of videos, we could do a video here, and make a TikTok or something for all of our social channels of just a simple feats of strength test. 20 push-ups, 1 pull-up, planking for a minute. Yeah. See who could even get through the push-ups. That would blow a lot of people out of the competition. The 20 push-ups.
Yeah, it might. Me included. All right. Those are our top 3 for Fuge Sausage. Go ahead.
Lebanon Dawn in the EST inbox. I always get planking and twerking mixed up.
Well, then that might make your life more interesting.
And you're right. Jasmine did chime in. She says, I can do 20, and she puts in air quotes, guy push-ups. 20, 20, 20. She does 60. She does it 5 days a week. 20 push-up intervals. She takes a break in between.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
And she chimed in and said, push-ups are harder than planking. So if I had to, if I would...
Really?
I would put the pull-up as the hardest thing on this list.
Yeah, so that's why I couldn't do
push-up second, planking would be... Yeah, I'd say planking would be the easiest.
All right. You can chime in on that, or Pete Rose, the late Pete Rose, should he be in the Hall of Fame, or our off-topic topic for William Huff, the greatest athlete you have ever seen play live, not hockey, and some circumstances around that. 780-218-9999, or into the Nasty Chat, which has been active today.
Very,
very active,
and
which is nice.
This Brewers-Mets game is just heating up, man.
Well, we don't have a TV in here, so I can't watch it.
Hashtag TV for Reid.
TV.
The number 4, Reid, and make sure you tag Dustin Nielsen in that, because that's the guy that... Maybe they should be tagging HR Daddy.
We got to crunch the numbers. I'm going to do my limericks. We're going to complain about pass interference again. We got a new segment, buying or selling, for Damon Bunting, all in the final hour. Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Conveniently located 10 minutes west of St. Albert, Wheeler's RV Storage will provide you with safe, secure storage for your RV, boat, or whatever you need to store. Open 7 days a week with gated keypad access and extra large stalls. Now is the time to take advantage of their limited time offer. Buy 6 months and get 1 month free. Now's the time to go to WheelersRVStorage.com. That's Wheeler's RV Storage. Safe, secure storage. Visit them today at WheelersRVStorage.com.
Fuge Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store, or use the code EST when shopping online at fugesausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Fuge Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, protect your interests. They'll be there every step of the way to help answer your questions and help you get your life back on track. Trust Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, 780-428-0088, or go to jameshbrown.com.
The Oilers place Ben Gleason, Phil Kempf, and Lane Peterson, as well as Colin Delia, on waivers. James Hamlin has also been loaned to the Bakersfield Condors, while Bo Akey heads back to the Barrie Colts. The Oilers continue their preseason tomorrow against the Kraken. Habs forward Patrick Laine does not require surgery on his sprained knee and should be back in about 2 to 3 months. Laine's Habs play the Sens tonight, as well as the Flyers meeting the Bruins, the Red Wings against the Pens, and Blackhawks against the Wild. Senators, Canadians open up the night at 5 o'clock. Elks wide receiver Gavin Cobb did not practice, while RB Javon Leake was limited. The Elks' next game is Saturday against the Riders. And right now in MLB action, the Brewers are up 4-3 against the Mets at the top of the 5th, while the Royals and Tigers both won in their games. The Braves and Padres game goes at 6:38. Right now, the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues. I'm Zachary Kubish, and now you're up to date.
All right, good to have you tuning in this afternoon. I was reading today that the Berlin Marathon announced a world record Sunday, 54,280 finishers. Paris in April had 54,175. New York in 2019 had 53,627. So talk about a lot of sore people over the last couple days.
Jeez.
All the marathon finishers from Berlin.
This is getting some run, Reid. Matty Iwanek has chimed in as well and said that, yes, as of right now, labrum surgery and all, our coup here at EST, Matthew Iwanek, says he could do 20 push-ups straight, no problem.
Oh, good.
I think he'd be a bit of a dark horse. We've talked about the EST Combine and what we do include, and I think Matt would give a big, a pretty good push. He likes to call himself the champion of this, the champion of that, champion poker player, all this stuff.
He'd be the champion of everything.
He would like to be. In a perfect world, he would.
The odds of the Edmonton Elks winning a championship took a major hit on the weekend as they were, well, quite frankly, obliterated 55-27 by Winnipeg. It was pretty much over halfway through the first quarter when it got to 17-0. It obviously got to 31-0. And then, it was over a half of sort of garbage time. Kenny Lawler made a couple spectacular catches. And then here's the thing. Dylan Mitchell makes an unreal catch on the last play of the game. No one cares. It's
too little too late.
It's too little too late. Hamilton shocked BC, by the way, which that was a great result for the Elks. Especially if it was 16-0 BC at the half, 23-8 after 3. Tiger Cats win in overtime. They've all of a sudden won 4 straight. Saskatchewan beat Ottawa, and how about Toronto beating Montreal? Look, was that a case of, because we talked throughout the week last week, and Gino Lewis was on the show and said it. Hey, if it's a back-to-back, it helps the losing team should come out firing the second game. I wonder if the Bombers spent all of last week thinking, how did we have all those turnovers and not have ended the game by the end of the third quarter instead of having to win it in the fourth? Like, that was just an absolute butt-kicking, message-sending performance in my mind by the Bombers.
100%. And when, essentially your season is hanging in the balance of this decision, to come out like that, like the Elks did, and lay a complete egg is unacceptable. I mean, the credit to Winnipeg's offense. I mean, the numbers they put up. They had 6 passes for 30 or longer. Edmonton had 3 turnovers. Winnipeg had none. They protected the ball. Edmonton did not. The second down conversions. This is a huge teller of how the game went. Edmonton was 40% on second down conversions. Winnipeg was 73%. They moved the dang ball. And, I mean, you can't say enough about Collaros. I mean, 21 of 26, 432 passing yards, and 6 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns. Yeah. You're not going to, I mean, like I said, I've said this before, when the Elks defense was struggling earlier in the year, it wouldn't matter if you had Tom Brady back there. They couldn't stop anything. So, yeah, and the problem also getting behind that early is just demoralizing.
Well, that's the thing. And I know you want to talk about the watch party, but that was so much about the Elks quarterback position has been discussed. That was not a quarterback loss. That was a team loss. And there were a couple of drops in there that you would have liked MBT to get some help. He is going to be the quarterback. So I'll throw you something quickly that Hernan asked me earlier today, and I think they talked about it on their show. What was a bigger mistake? Not starting Ford at some point while you're going 0-7, or starting Ford after MBT had won 3 of the last 4 and he goes back in against Winnipeg?
The latter.
I actually think so too.
Yeah, I do, because at the start of the season, they were trying to figure things out, and they were in some close games. It wasn't like these blowout. There was, I think, 2 of the first 7 were like blowouts, whereas the other ones were 3-point games.
Yeah.
And McLeod Bethel Thompson wasn't playing that terribly. There wouldn't really be the call until the coaching change came in. Then, Jarius Jackson felt the pressure from the media, felt the pressure from the fans, possibly even the organization to say, okay, we've got to make a change. But McLeod Bethel Thompson, with 3-1 in those 4 games during Trey Ford's injury, he was playing good football. He was playing very, clairvoyant football. Yeah. To have that happen, I mean, obviously hindsight's 20/20. But if you're asking the mistake, what was the mistake? Was it bigger? You'd have to say the latter, at least my opinion. You tend to agree?
Well, yeah, because I mean, here's the thing. This last game was a nightmare. It was not a quarterback loss. I think a lot of the first game in the home and home was a quarterback loss.
Yes.
Because Ford did very little. And the defense did the exact opposite of what they did on Saturday or Friday. They held the team in it quite a lot. They weren't able to do that. More on the Elks throughout the week. They host the Riders on Saturday. It could be the end of the line for the Elks. A BC win and a Saskatchewan win over Edmonton would totally eliminate them. I don't know what to expect from BC. I mean, they're playing Calgary, who are not good, but I mean, to me, that was that last game for BC. That was like their whole season. They're brilliant, and then they do nothing and they lose.
Yeah, talk about Jekyll and Hyde.
The Golden Bears football team, they played Friday in Saskatchewan. They led 30-14 after 3 quarters. They lost 33-30. They let it slip away. They had a 46-yard field goal to tie it in the final 20 seconds. That came up short. They are down to 2-3. They play UBC on Friday. They have, my sources tell me, 8 players out for the season. And Eli Hetlinger, the quarterback, may be one of them. He was hurt late in the game against Saskatchewan, and his status for the rest of the season is up in the air. So I think we'll probably keep an eye on the depth chart. I think it comes out tomorrow already for Friday's game. So a season of promise for the Golden Bears football team has gotten pretty bleak here. Now 4 out of 6 teams make it in Canada West. They're still in a playoff spot today. But you got to think they got to win one of their final. It's going to be tough, though. I mean, UBC's not first, but they're good. So that's the quick update there for the Golden Bears.
Yeah, and just it's this just speaks to the strength of Canada West football. Just when the Bears figure they got it back, they got their whole offensive line back from last year. High hopes leading into the year, strong running game. But you find yourself at Griffith Stadium going into the fourth quarter and you give up 18 points and lose the game. That is Canada West football. Now they have UBC, Manitoba, Regina.
No, Regina's not very good, right?
Regina, they're all good.
Okay.
They're all not there's not a team that you can sleep on. Although it probably would have been Calgary.
Well, it would have been Calgary, but the Bears messed that game up.
That didn't work out so well. So, I mean, you could still see the Bears because Manitoba's running away with it. They're 5-0. UBC is second at 3-2. Then it's 2-3, 2-3, 2-3. So if Alberta can pick up two of these last three games and get themselves to 4-4, I still think because one of them is against Manitoba, one's against UBC. If they can pick up two of those wins, or heck, even run the table. I was talking to Doug McLean. If they run the table, then they could still host a home playoff game.
Okay. Well, it's going to be tough, but hopefully they can pull it out against UBC on Friday. It is time to crunch the numbers. We do it every week for Gallo LLP, Chartered Professional Accountants, where they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John at Gallo LLP if you'd like to discuss further how they can crunch your numbers and help your business grow. Visit their website, GalloLLP.ca, and see how Gallo LLP can help your business grow. J. Milne.
We have got to crunch some numbers here on NFL rookie quarterback sensation.
Oh, my goodness.
Sensation. And taking the NFL world by storm, literally. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Commanders guy.
Yeah, okay.
Jaden Daniels.
I'm not so sure about that.
No, chime in. If you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm being biased, which I may be slightly, I'll admit slightly, but not fully, Jaden Daniels is tearing this league apart. He is breaking records. So Washington, for those that don't know, now leads the NFC East with a 3-1 record. That's better than Dallas. That's better than Philadelphia. That's better than the New York Giants. Jaden Daniels has broken a record previously held by who I consider the greatest to ever throw the football of all time. Tom Brady. Okay? He broke a record that Tom Brady had. The highest, and this isn't even when Tom Brady was a rookie. This is Tom Brady in peak Tom Brady time, which was in 2007. Tom Brady held the record of a completion percentage through his first 4 games of the 2007 season at 79.2. That's completions. Jaden Daniels is operating at 82.1% completion rate through the first 4
He's
weeks.
over 80%.
Yes.
His first 4 games in the National Football League ever. That is pretty good.
That is a record. Not a rookie record. An NFL record that was broken.
Yeah, I would have thought, okay, rookie record. Well, that's a crazy number.
He's the first quarterback ever to have 85% or higher completion in 2 straight games, which he did against the Bengals. And then he did this here this past week of a completion percentage of over 85% against the Cardinals. In last week's Monday Night Football game versus the Bengals, he set a single game rookie record completion rate. 91.3. 21 of 23. 91.3 completion rate. When you're doing that, you are going to win games.
Okay, so does he just see the field way better than most rookies usually are able to, or are they giving him passes that have a higher percentage? I mean, that's still an impressive rate, but I'm just wondering, is he being protected with play calling at all?
I think, we talked about it earlier in the show about Victor Arvidsson and his hockey IQ. I think Jaden Daniels' football IQ is quite high. He protects the ball. He's reading and progressions for him, which is normally a hard adaptation for a rookie quarterback coming into the NFL, makes it look really easy. And I will say, Cliff Kingsbury is the new offensive coordinator in Washington, and he has had very good success with young quarterbacks. Last he was in was Arizona with Kyler Murray.
All right.
He popped off pretty well as well. But and Jaden Daniels is not just doing it with his arm. He's also doing it with his feet. He's got the second most rushing yards by a QB ever through 4 games of a season with 218 rushing yards.
Okay, so number one would be, well, is it Vic?
Reid, I couldn't even find that.
Oh, sorry.
Looked.
Okay.
This was...
there's been 3 quarterbacks who have rushed for 1,000 yards in a season. Vic did it twice. No, pardon me. Jackson's done it twice. Vic did it, and Justin Fields did it. So it probably would be one of those guys. So, but he's on pace for, right around 1,000. He's got 17 games too instead of 16.
Lamar Jackson too. Rush for 1,000.
Who did I say?
Fields, Vic.
And Jackson did it twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. In 2019 and 2020.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes.
That is incredible.
He's good, but he's doing things that just aren't normal for a rookie quarterback. I mean, the comparable here would be Caleb Williams in Chicago and how Jaden Daniels looks like twice the quarterback that Caleb Williams is currently. I still think that Caleb Williams will develop into a very good NFL quarterback because he's playing like a normal NFL rookie quarterback.
Right.
What Jaden Daniels is doing is, obviously, look at these records that he's breaking. It's very, very rare to see a quarterback so comfortable in the pocket.
And the Commanders are 3-1?
Sure are.
Wow. Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks, Reid. I've been cheering for a stinker since I was born. The last time...
You don't remember the 91 Super Bowl?
I don't remember Mark Rippon.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I do have a signed Mark Rippon jersey, and I have a signed memorabilia piece of his in my basement, but I don't remember that well enough to be like, oh, yeah, that was one of my championships with my team. No.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Closest we were last was when RG3 was at the helm. And that was
they were
fun
in the
to
playoffs.
watch.
They didn't even make an NFC championship game, did they?
No. RG3's legs turned into spaghetti, and that was that.
Jared Goff last night was 18 for 18 for the Lions. He also caught a touchdown pass. But some people, especially my mom, she was angry last night when I was at the Oilers game. We're going to talk about pass interference, which we have been talking about since this show was born a month ago. We got some video of a missed call, and we're going to discuss what can be done about it. Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne on Edmonton Sports Talk. Here comes an update for Sit and Sleep.
Ben Gleason, Phil Kemp, and Lane Peterson and Colin Delia were placed on waivers this morning for purpose of reassignment. Other moves saw James Hamblin being loaned to Bakersfield and Bo Akey returning to the Barrie Colts. Oilers preseason continues tomorrow against the Kraken. Habs forward Patrick Laine does not require surgery on his sprained left knee and should be back in about 2 to 3 months. Laine last year in Columbus had 9 points in 18 games. Right now it sends Habs, Red Wings, Penguins, and Devils, Rangers, and the Rangers are up 1-0 against the Devils off the stick of Zach Jones. Later, we also see the Blue Jackets against the Blues and the Golden Knights against the Avs. Avs Golden Knights goes at 7:30. Elks wide receiver Gavin Cobb did not practice while RB Javon Leake was limited. The Elks' next game is Saturday against the Riders. In baseball, the Mets took an 8-4 lead and now are up by 4 at the bottom of the 5th. Later at 6:38 It's the Braves and Padres. This sports update has been brought to you by Sit and Sleep. The wait is over. Sit and Sleep is now open. Celebrate with 20,000 square feet of savings on the trendiest furniture, home decor, and mattresses. Apply for your Sit and Sleep card today to make no payments for 18 months interest-free. Right after the break, the Reid Wilkins Show continues right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. I'm Zachary Kubish, and now you're up to date.
It's crunch time for your taste buds because for a limited time, A&W is collaborating with Ruffles to bring you the Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger, your favorite teen burger, and your favorite Ruffles cheddar and sour cream chips combined into one unique taste sensation. It's grass-fed beef. It's one-of-a-kind ridges and crunch. Try it in all its teen burger glory or crunch into its equally tasty sidekick, the Ruffles Crunch Buddy Burger for just $4.99. Try one today at your neighborhood A&W.
Come get your game on at The Ranch. The Ranch lets it all hang out with a championship caliber design, premier conditions, and above all, a fun laid-back experience. Get top-notch service and unmatched value every time you play at The Ranch. Think you have what it takes to go low? The best value for your golfing buck is always The Ranch. The Ranch Golf and Country Club. 10, 50, 100, and 200 round packs on sale. TheRanchGolf.com.
Celebrate the grand opening of Sit and Sleep and discover a revolutionary way to shop for mattresses. Stop in today for a free pressure point scan using cutting-edge technology so sleepologists can identify the perfect mattress for you. Right now, you'll get free local delivery on any mattress over $5.99 and receive a bamboo cooling